Tens of thousands of football fans came to Highbury. Electrifying.
Yes, guys, welcome back to the Cannon Podcast and the instant reaction. Nottingham Forest 0, Arsenal 0 at the City ground. To cheer you all up, we've got a surprise, a good surprise for you. No George, but we do have Rohan on the instant reaction, which is fantastic news. Hope you're all well. Hope you all had a lovely Saturday, other than the football. Yeah, bit of a disappointment this afternoon. We're going to break down how that all happened. We're going to get into things. I'll start with me, Rohan, just to get it out of the way. My headline: not happy, but ... That was a poor performance, and I'm frustrated. I'm frustrated at the chances we missed. I'm frustrated with the handball, which is absolutely, in every sense, a handball. I don't understand. My big feeling is how we're attacking at the minute is concerning me. That is a big worry. I think getting to like, oh, this Arsenal team can't attack. No, we're inconsistent. We have sort of periods where we can, and then periods where we just seem to be unable to. And we're in one of those periods at the minute, which is really unfortunate. Maybe it's just the way I'm feeling right now. I've been out today. I've seen some mates and stuff. It's +1 on City. It's not the end of the world. We're still winning the title. My big thing is the way we're attacking, which we'll get into, but that's how I'm feeling right now. Give us your headline, please, Rohan.
Frustration. Yeah. I think it's one of those ones where I'll wake up tomorrow and I'll feel all right because, as you say, it's +1 on City. But I felt like I watched that game earlier today and I thought, right, now we're in business. We can actually bury it today. If we'd won today, I would have said the title was done. Still, we are going to win the league, in my opinion, but I just wanted us to bury them. We had the chance to bury them against Liverpool. We failed to do that. And we had the chance to bury them again today, and we failed to do that. That's the frustration for me. Not gonna lie, I said before the match, I didn't care about the performance. Just win the game today. Just win it, because it literally puts you with one firm hand on the title if you're being conservative. For me, I would have said it's done. It's completely done and dusted, because 9 points is too much, especially for this City team. So yeah, I'm a bit annoyed because we've just not been able to capitalise at a time in which I think we really could have added. We would have rubbed more salt into those City wins. So yeah, just a bit deflated.
It is deflating. It's still happening, but it's really deflating. But as you say, it's a shame after the result earlier and the performance from City earlier that we just couldn't go and do it, especially when if we were the better team. We were absolutely the better team. Yeah. I think to me this performance makes a lot more sense when you consider it in the context that it's the third of 4 consecutive away games. I'm not. There's such a thing as a reason, and there's such a thing as an excuse, and I'm not excusing it, but that is a reason I think why we saw the performance today. Let's try and get into it. Let's try and get into sort of the nuts and bolts of it. We'll park the sort of title race conversation, and I still do firmly believe I'm not worried, but the way we're attacking at the minute, Rohan, let's try and get into this. And thank you all for your super chats as well. We'll come to them towards the end. As I say, I feel like we go through these periods, and what happens is the narratives come back out every sort of 5 games or so. We'll go 5 games where we can attack, and then and everyone forgets about it. And then we have this sort of period of games where we don't seem to be able to, and everyone goes, oh, that's what this Arsenal team is. I don't think we are. I just think we're inconsistent. When we can't attack, or we don't seem to be able to, my big issue today was the complete lack of carry. I don't understand when you're playing against a back 5 of Forest, and you've got the quite a square front 2 as well, and you've got Declan Rice dropping into the pockets, you've got Timber dropping into the pockets. There's no ability to fight. There's no willingness for me from the players behind the ball to pass into those pockets and allow someone to turn. And maybe you put a when area in there if you're worried about the player receiving that on the half turn. There's this desire to play the ball wide consistently. Well, they've got the overload. So the thing, it's very, very simple. It's over, it's through, or it's round. And I feel like it was through today, certainly up to sort of the penalty box, and we did not carry the ball. It was pass, sideways. And I find that really, really frustrating. And then and again, I'm not absolving any individuals of blame, but it makes our creative players look like duds when they're actually not, but they're just continually passing the ball. And this is why I'm looking at this performance much more on Mikel Arteta. So that's one of the issues. I think the tempo is a bit of an issue. Obviously, missing chances is a bit of an issue. I would be surprised. We're going to see the stats in a minute. I would be surprised if we have. I can't remember if Scott Willis does 14 entries or touches, but it's going to be low. It is going. We could not access that part of the pitch, and when you can't access that part of the pitch, you're limited to cutbacks. You're limited to crosses, and that's what we were doing. Into Gyökeres is not a header of the ball. When Marino comes on the pitch, we're starting to get a few more headers, but again, you only get 2, maybe and a half, and if you don't make those count, it doesn't matter. So I'm really frustrated with our chance creation. I'm really frustrated with our attack. Again, I go back to what I said at the beginning. I don't think this is like an unfixable issue at Arsenal, but it is an issue that keeps coming up at every couple of games, and it frustrates me because it feels like we fix it and then we drop it. We fix it and then we drop it.
Yeah, I think for me, not gonna lie, I did think in the first half, in the first 30 or so minutes, I thought we were looking good. I genuinely thought we looked good. I hear what you're saying in terms of the carry and in terms of the lack of threat centrally, but I kind of felt that was the way we were going to go with this game with the choices that we made, especially with Madueke on the pitch. It felt very much like a game in which we're going to funnel the game towards Madueke. We're going to try and play for our right. Forest tried to deny us that. If you watch how they were trying to defend, they were orientating their body towards our left-hand side. It's the same as what Bournemouth were doing as well. So that was their intention. And I felt personally, after the 30th minute, we went through a significant lull period, and then that carried into the second half. And that was the big frustration for me because I felt like we had. I hear what you're saying, in terms of that central threat, but I still felt like if we were able to replicate that first 30 minutes for more prolonged periods, it would have come. We had big moments that came in that first 30 minutes, especially the Martinelli chance. The Martinelli chance is a massive one. There's a Bamendi chance as well when he goes in behind. I think it's Madueke who puts him through. Yeah, it's neither a shot or a cross. It's one of those.
Marino should score at the end.
Yeah,
should probably score. Yeah,
I think
loads.
I think the thing that I'm a bit frustrated on is the left back usage in terms of I think there's a lot more nuance to it in terms of when the the fullbacks come inside. It's something that we've been doing a lot this season anyway. But I said it in the Liverpool game as well. I felt like with Hincapié, the way we're using Hincapié in that game, again, we're trying to isolate Trossard 1v1 against Conor Bradley. And I think that's not a bad idea. I don't think Conor Bradley is the best 1v1 defensively. But if you're using Hincapié in that way to attack the inside space, and likewise there with Timber, I wonder if Miles Lewis-Skelly would have added more to this team.
I completely
and that's the only thing. I think it's more for me in that aspect. And I'll need to watch the game back because I can't really tell you much on the other nuances. But I just feel like the spaces that Timber is finding himself in, I just think Miles, that's where you want him. Yeah. When we talk about Miles in midfield minutes, forget about the position on paper. Look at the areas he's operating.
Completely agree. And the only thing Timber had over Miles in that game was those pingers out to Madueke a couple of times. Yeah. To an overloaded left hand side from 5 at the back. So do you know what I mean? None of it quite lined up. I wasn't. Where are the spaces? The spaces are going to be in sort of on the side of those two and maybe inside as well because they were very square, the front two. They were inside and Timber was picking up those pockets and you're going, that's Miles. That is a perfect Miles game to carry as well. Like if we're looking for a carry. So yeah, it didn't make sense to me.
You know why he's selected Timber, because at the moment he doesn't trust Miles in terms of without the ball over the top, in behind, even 1v1s as well. Yeah. He's not got that confidence in him in that area of the game. And I feel with an away game, especially in the Premier League, that's probably the thinking Mikel has there, where he knows Timber is going to be very assured there. And maybe he's going to be able to do enough in the final third to get us over the line. I just felt like, Forest did absolutely nothing today. Like that game was a carbon copy of when we played Forest last season at the ground. Yeah. Literally the same.
I hate this ground, mate. I hate it. It's so they were celebrating throw-ins.
Yeah, mate.
Do you know what as well? And on that point, something maybe we should mention, and is on us, is the physicality of the game. I think probably only Rice, Marino, and Zubamendi dealt with it. Odegaard could not deal with it today. This was not an Odegaard game. And I'm sorry, like I think Odegaard is a pass first player, which didn't suit this game. He's also not he could not deal with Elliot Anderson at all. I sort of felt bad for him. I know people can say, "Oh, he's the captain. He's paid." It's not his game. It's literally not his game. He shouldn't have been selected, in my opinion. This should have been, to be honest. If we all know Arteta, he probably starts with a Zubimendi, Rice, Marino midfield, and then maybe you bring on Eze. But I thought Eze was way too late. This also felt like a game. We're in the middle of a run of 4 away games, and it's not quite going your way, and you're missing chances, and it's getting later and later. You need a moments player, and that's why you sign Eze. So bring him on at 78 minutes or whatever it was. It's too late. He needed to come at half time, in my opinion, to grow into the game. Because also, what you notice, in my opinion, it's very rare. Ironically, he nearly did it today with Eze. He comes on and sort of immediately makes an impact, but he grows into it and then he finds the moment, and that's what I feel like he is. So he needed to come on much earlier for me.
I felt like we knew. I've watched Forest this season, watched them against Man City, and they were way more aggressive against Man City because I felt that they felt really strong and they could get a tune out of their centre backs, and they made it very difficult. They did nothing to us today. But it wasn't going to be a game which Forest are going to press us, right? So if they're not going to press us, and when they're at goal kicks or when they're building out, they're going to go long immediately. So you're not going to create chances if you press. That's just facts, right? If a team goes long, then they bypass their back line, and then it becomes more of a long ball game. Then it's about you winning the second balls, and then you go and attack. I felt like this was a game for Eze on the left wing. I really wanted him to start this game because it was going to be one in which we need a lock picker on one side. The Madueke change, I completely hear that. I thought, okay, cool. That makes sense to me, but just felt like with someone like Eze on the left-hand side, who stylistically is a lot more similar to a Trossard, as we've mentioned many times, than a Martinelli. I felt like we would have had a bit more variety in the way that we would have attacked, because you've got someone like Martinelli on the wing in this game, was always trying to take Ola Aina on 1v1 using his pace, but there was no real invention, and you saw with Trossard, I didn't think had a good cameo anyway, but he's more of someone who's going to look for those passes inside, and I feel Eze would have been more suited there. And then you've got the 1v1 threat of Madueke on the opposite side. So, yeah, I mean, but that is hindsight, because when I did see the team, I was like, yeah, okay, it's cool. It's so I'd be lying to you if I said, oh, no, I did want Eze to start, but I wasn't, furious that he didn't start. Yeah. But I just kind of felt how the game transpired, it certainly needed that more. And my final point on Ødegaard, I mean, the proof is in the pudding. He took him off very early in the second half, so he knew that he kind of got it wrong there. So,
yeah. We'll go to the stats just now, but I also think it's worth saying. Maybe people won't like this, but I'm going to say it anyway. The fact that Nottingham Forest are 17th in this league, I'm not saying they're a brilliant side, but they are physically robust. They have £100 million players in Elliot Anderson, who probably will get if he goes to United or whatever. They have a very, very good goalkeeper. Murillo's a brilliant centre back. Igor Jesus was causing us problems, and he was winning battles against Saliba and Gabriel at points. The fact they're 17th, we should have beat them. I'm not saying that at all. But the fact they're 17th, if you don't think this is the best league in the world, I can't help you. I'm sorry.
Yeah. I mean, well, if you look, just to quickly add on to that, they finished in Europe last season. You look at that team that started, that whole back four was the team that started for them last season. The goalkeeper's the same. Yeah. They've got Anderson, obviously, there, Morgan Gibbs-White, all from last season. Callum Hudson-Odoi. Sangara's no mug. Igor Jesus, for me, is very good back to goal, and I felt we dealt with him really well. And I can't remember who was on the opposite side, actually, on their right wing.
Hudson-Odoi?
No, Hudson-Odoi was on the... Oh, yeah, Hudson-Odoi was on the right. Who was on the left?
God, testing me now.
Yeah, I can't remember who it was.
By the way, when what's his face? Amari Hutchinson came on, I was like, don't do this.
Yeah, do you know what
I was like, there's going to be a left-footed curler.
Do you know when it gets to like the 90th minute, I'm always like, God, am I being too greedy for the win here? Just give us the point. When they attack, every time Forrest got the ball in that post 90 minutes, like, oh no, I'll take the point. I'll take the point.
Let's look at the numbers. 2.5 expected goals to 0.3. No goals, 15 shots to their 6, 3 on target to their none, 4 open play shots to their 4 as well. Possession 60.6 to 39.4, 425 passes to 342. shading them on field tilt. Final third entries 42-39 for them. Wow. 4.5 expected threat created to 1.3. 50 deep touches to 25. Yeah, so we had the exact same amount of zone 14 touches as them.
Yeah, you're right.
That tells you exactly. We just could not access that area. They completed more crosses than us. Had more crosses than us, but we completed more than them, and we had shaded them on progressive passes. There's a running XG across the match. I suspect that might have been the Saka chance, which is a great save around then. Certainly, sort of heading into the second half. Certainly, there's the shot map, and there is the field tilt, which we won.
Well, there you go. I mean, you see the Forest period. That was exactly the period I felt we just went through a significant lull. We couldn't do. Yeah. And what really annoys me is it's just petulant fouls that we make sometimes, where you're not going to win the ball. He's going nowhere. Just leave it. Just leave it, and we can reset. And that slows the game down as well because you're playing the game that the opposition wants. And yeah, Sean Dyche just. That was Arsenal Everton 0-0 last season. Actually,
it is, and this is a good sub by the way from Mikel. He made a lot of errors today, but that was a good sub. Yeah, it's like the most, and the thing is he gets a stereotype, and he has it for a reason. It's second balls, it's shoulder to shoulder, it's getting the ear of the fourth official, it's slow the game down, it's get the crowd up, it's all those things. I mean, I actually was checking their social media feed before the game for their lineup, and I saw an interview from Sean Dyche, and he literally is like, "You can't dominate possession, so we're not going to. We're going to get the crowd up." That's what he said. It's like he's just literally saying it. It's not like it's not a secret. So yeah, there we go. Let's go to the comments and your super chats. Thank you all so much for joining us. Make sure you like and subscribe. As always, Hermit the Frog says, really poor mindset these games. You should want to go out and finish the league. No aggression and really bad focus. No urgency at all. I probably agree on the aggression from an attacking perspective. Yeah, but equally, when you're not set up properly, it's very hard to be aggressive. It's like trying to punch someone without any arms. It's like, yeah, you do want to punch them, but you haven't got the arm. And if you can't access those areas, I'm saying, I'm sat there going like, we haven't had taken a shot from outside the box. Okay, tell me when there was a player free on the edge of the box. There wasn't one. So, you know what I mean? You could even make the shot. We couldn't access those areas. So I think it was a setup issue for me today. It was a carry issue for me today. It was a ball speed issue, maybe in the final third issue. You could argue the wing, certainly on the left-hand side, both of those wingers lost those battles. And when you're the 1v1, certainly, and when probably Saka's the only one beating his man on the day, it's like, well, if that's your area, if you're going out wide and your wingers aren't beating their men, what can you do?
Yeah, exactly. I think for me the frustration is more down to the tempo, especially towards the end, where they're not going to win the ball back here when we have the ball across our backline. So just move it quicker. It's simple things like that. The moment you move it quicker, you can then overload quicker. You can then get into the final third quicker, and that's the frustration. I understand when the tempo of the game becomes a lot slower when the opposition is pressing onto us, because you have to think about what solutions to find. The moment you've got spare men in your build-up, just play it quicker. And I felt like sometimes, I saw Arteta on the touchline. He said, keep funneling the ball towards the right-hand side, keep working the ball in this area. And then we kept trying to switch it back to the left, then back to the right and back to the left. It's like they're just moving side to side. We're not really penetrating them there. So that was really annoying. I'm just frustrated that we didn't build up on that first 30 minutes, because I genuinely thought, all right, this is going to be easy. We're in flow state here. We've got the ball moving in the way that we want to. We've got it on the right hand side. Noni, some good moments, some bad moments, but he's always a threat if you keep funneling the ball to him. I just felt like we stopped doing that, and credit to Nottingham Forest, because it's frustrating, seeing stop-start and a really physical battle and slowing the game down in their own way. They got to do what they got to do. I'll never come on here and criticize how the opposition plays, because at the end of the day,
you've got to survive.
Yeah, you've got to survive. You've got to do everything that you can to get points, because getting points in this league is tough. Look at the results that are happening week in, week out. So, yeah, but honestly, we should have won the game despite all that. We did enough to win that game. That's the annoying thing. I think in the Liverpool game, reviewing that, we didn't deserve to win that game. We didn't deserve it. I got slightly criticised for this take on the timeline where I said if there was a team that deserved to win the game win that game between Arsenal and Liverpool, not saying that it would have, but I felt I'd lean it more towards Liverpool because of what the things that they were doing. But this game, so I hate Arsenal. But this game, mate, that Marino chance, we're going to look back at that one. He has to score that.
It's big.
He's got to score that, and the Martinelli one as well.
Martinelli, Gyökeres clean through. Someone's got to score. Someone's got to score. Ivan Smith, disgraceful performance. Teams can have the occasional bad game, so I'm not too pissed off, but the stands tonight were through the floor, and Mikel clearly knew it on the touchline. Yeah, I think Mikel will be quite annoyed about this one. Yeah. I wouldn't be surprised. I've been trying to look for quotes. There's a very obvious shot of Declan Rice. Actually, I'm going to try and get it on the screen because there's a GIF of it where he's telling us what he thinks in no uncertain terms. Let me just pull it up.
What about the handball, Alex?
It's a handball for me, mate.
Yeah.
I think you can tell. I'm not going to say it just because of what's the word, monetization. But yeah, I think people can tell what he might be saying there, so we know what Declan Rice thinks. For me, it is a handball because I think what happened. I understand there's the player there, but I think he knows he's trying to bring it back into play.
He is exactly. That means it's a handball.
Yeah, I think it's intentional. The natural position thing is like because you could take the argument, or where could his arm go? But he's moving his arm towards the ball as he's trying to bring it in. So I don't quite.
We'll say though, and it doesn't really make logical sense, but Man City should have Dalot should have been sent off in that game. To be fair,
I only saw the second half, so I didn't see.
You have a look at it. It's a red card to Dalot. I think it's like the 10th minute.
Okay,
doesn't really make sense, but I'll just point that out there to make ourselves feel a little bit better.
And that's all that matters. That's what we're here for. Mojo Man says this game had 24-25 written all over it, mate. I totally agree. Remember, for 24 months. Thank you so much, sir.
It's literally a carbon copy of last season's game. Literally. They did nothing in the whole game, Forest. And we had moments and we didn't take them. We actually created more today, actually. But we did have Tierney playing left wing, though. Sorry.
Yeah, true. Hollow Ichigo. Ichigo? I don't know. Apologies. We have the opposite of a champion's mentality. Gyok plays like he's wearing running shoes instead of football boots. Terrible ball control.
Yeah. Well, what do you want me to say about it? I mean,
yeah,
I'm really disappointed with that moment that he had clean from goal. It felt like it took him an age to get it under control. And he doesn't. Yeah.
Silver Reaper JG became a YouTube member. Thank you so much. Much appreciated. Mike Watts says, I have to say, boys, I can't continue to watch Gyökeres and how he wastes 60 minutes every game playing with 10. Also, Arteta starting our least technical front three. I've said everything I need to say about that first part. Yeah. The least technical front three, I think, is a good point. I think I don't necessarily. It depends what you mean by technical. So I'm not necessarily engaging with that part of it. I'm engaging with like the construction of the front three. I don't like that front three.
Yeah.
I don't like it. I think I think you have Martin. If you don't play Trossard alongside Gyökeres, that's a big problem. Or Eza maybe. That's a big problem because that's a complete disconnection. It's two players trying to do. It's two strikers basically playing next to each other. And you don't have a creative Gyökeres. I think Madueke. I've loved some things, obviously like the goal against Club Brugge, and there's been certain games where he's come on. I've thought, okay, we've got a player here who's got that bravery to take people on, and got that bravery to just time after time, that kind of puppy dog energy to just go, I'm going to take you on, and really is brilliant 1v1. I think he might. I still do believe in isolation he might be our best just overall 1v1 player. But once he creates the separation, the brilliance of Saka is he somehow creates the separation. But it's almost like while he's creating the separation, he already knows the next step. Yeah. He creates the separation, and in that action, it leads him to playing the ball off his right foot, whatever. It feels like Noni goes, I'm locked in on this battle. He wins the battle, then he goes, now what? But this quite got that next. It's not like I'm going to win the battle to do this. It doesn't feel intentional, I guess, is my feeling.
Everybody in this chat would completely agree with you. That's Noni Madueke right now. That is who he is. He's fantastic in terms of box entry, starting wide, beating his man. He can do that in his sleep. He can do that against any fullback. If you had Jurriën Timber against him, he would beat Jurriën Timber 1v1 in moments. Can do, but it is that decisiveness after that. What can you bring after that? That is what separates the good players from the very best. Because you see with Saka, when he beats his man, every time he cut inside or he went on the outside, his decision making is spot on in terms of what he's looking to do in that next moment. Noni Madueke, at times when he cuts inside, you're wanting a little bit more finesse, because you've got that far corner to target. Noni Madueke will just try and hit it as hard as he can at times, and it's like there's no, and just hope that something will happen. That's the frustration with him. It is the end product, and I saw. I think a few tweets about similarities to Jeremy Doku. I totally see that. Jeremy Doku is someone since he came to the Premier League, fantastic 1v1, can enter the box, but in terms of his final product, he's not scored more than like 5 or 6 Premier League goals in 3 years. That's the big frustration. And I think in terms of the least technical front three, I think the comment is probably more looking at the fact that when you look at the forward line, it is 3 players who are looking to stretch and play behind the last line, right? That's not going to be the sort of game this
not
is.
Ball retainers.
Exactly. So you need lock pickers. You need lock pickers. I think it's totally fine to have one of them there, but I think having both of them, you've not really got any sort of variety in terms of the way you attack through the right in comparison to the way that you attack through the left. So that was really annoying. So yeah.
I have to say, I don't want to turn on the chat, but the chat is quite negative. Are you feeling that negative?
No, I'm frustrated because I wanted to bury it today. That's why I'm frustrated. I'm not frustrated at the general picture. I'm annoyed because I kind of like, hyped myself up thinking, we're going to finish it today. We can bury this 9 points because City are going to drop more points anyway in the next few games. They've got Wolves next, I think, so they'll win that. But they've got to go Anfield soon. There's no way City are going to win at Anfield. So my annoyance is the fact that getting a bigger lead, bigger buffer, it also allows us to manage the fixture schedule a little bit better, doesn't it? With the number of games that we have to play until the next international break, we're going to be playing every single 3 days. And that's where I'm annoyed because I felt like this team should have killed it today. Because if you do that, you really send a message to everybody thinking, right, Arsenal's serious. Because overall, I said after the Liverpool game, which it can happen. Liverpool, despite their problems this season, they drew again today. They're still a good team, and drawing against them, it's not the end of the world, and it's not the end of the world today. But I felt like that can happen. Overall this season, we have capitalized when City have dropped points, but we've had 2 opportunities, and I think you've got to take one of them, and we've not taken any of them with full capacity. That's where I'm frustrated. I'm not frustrated about, like Arteta and although I'll rewatch it tomorrow and see.
I guess I'm just feeling we're all so desperate for this title. I get it, and we are, and I am as well. And I think it just makes every game like this feel so on a knife edge. And so everything is is really, really, this could be it. This could be the moment. And I've said this a couple of times, but there's something Jamie Carragher said last year that I always say that I actually agreed with, which is it feels like Arsenal are like 1 game away from a crisis all the time. And I think that comes from this of not winning the title in 3 years in a row. Like it's a natural consequence of it. So games like this feel like, oh my, it's happening again, or whatever. And it's for me, it's hard to know. I don't know
what it is. And I think it's fair, people to be apprehensive on it. It's looking at what Manchester City can do because of what Manchester City have done in the past, especially in 23-24, where they go on that ridiculous run to surpass us when we were pretty much perfect as well towards the second half of that season. So we're kind of using that Man City and kind of like saying that could still happen this season as well, with Arsenal falling away, which I don't think is the case. But I think because we've been burned before, that's what it's going to feel like. I feel like the fan base is only going to have that confidence until we win the league. The moment we win the league, there's going to be the confidence in which, okay, we can still go again. and it's down on the players to prove that, really. So I'm not going to dig people out on how they're feeling that, but I don't sit in the camp of worrying about Arsenal and the title. Like I said, I'm just annoyed that 9 points. I was looking at 9 points.
Yeah, I heard. John Kalishi said no, but that was SHIT. Midfield was bad. Number 9, useless. Ali Deary says we're not serious. Horrible starting lineup. Balance in attack. We sort of covered that. Thank you guys so much for your super chats. Really appreciate it. Complete disgrace. We cannot pile pressure. We can't rely on something menus. So to win as the league. Why is my team always frustrating to watch?
I think it's because of what we saw in the Liverpool game. Personally, if you look before the Liverpool game, we were in a really good period in which we were playing really well. It wasn't too far ago in which we were creating a lot of opportunities and we're missing chance after chance after chance. Football there's a lot of recency bias when it comes to football and sport in general. You look back at the past couple of games and you think, this Arsenal team has become stale. We played Aston Villa and we absolutely battered them in the second half, created chance after chance. Against Brighton, we created multiple opportunities. Against Palace, we created multiple opportunities. Against Everton, we created a lot of opportunities. So I think it is more down to the bad taste from that Liverpool game. And I think also, with the hyping up of it, which makes total sense, of just everything, when it comes to the social media, Arsenal, on Instagram, TikTok, Twitter. And then they gave that performance and that was kind of a sour taste for fans, and then obviously now this game as well. But mate, we're a really good team, and I disagree with. I've seen some comments about if we win it, this is going to be the worst team in the past 20 years. I just really disagree with that massively. I think you're not considering also the quality of the league. You are not considering that. So
you can't. I'm sorry. You can't compare the Premier League now to 20 years ago. It's like a different sport, honestly.
Yeah.
The one thing, the sympathy I do have is in the forward areas. I do think we have some big strides to make in the forward areas. I think, we've got a super chat here from George saying summer 2024 window still hurting us. And a super chat here from Jamal. I'll sort of pull these all in together because I think it's probably pretty fair. And another one from Nico says the one-time Saka gets a good header. Sells makes a wonder save. Our attack is so hot and cold. Luckily, City are even worse. Love the pod, by the way. Thank you, Nico. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Yeah, this is where, because I agree, we're not the worst team to ever win the league, all those sorts of things. It's just the way the league is now. We've had to become this team, and I also believe we are built to go the distance. This is the way we're built, and it is a bit conservative, but I think that's what you need to be, maybe to go and compete across all fronts and actually go and do something. And I'll only know whether that's true or not at the end of the season, right? But that's my feeling right now. I do have sympathy, though, for the attack conversation. And I think what I want this Arsenal team to become is a team that have days where we're not at it, but not periods. We currently have periods. We have periods where we're on and periods where we're off. And at the minute, we're in a period where we're off of 2 or 3 games. It's never like 15 games, but it's a period. And sort of a week or two will go by where we just can't seem to create enough or put the ball in the back of the net. And then we'll be back again and everyone's like, oh, it's fine. And I do think that comes from having, we did it the other day on the director's box, right? We looked through the forward recruitment under Arteta. I don't think it's been good enough, basically. It's not 0 out of 10. It's just not as good as the other areas of the team. And I think I have complete sympathy for people who say that. I think that's a fair assessment of this Arsenal team. Does that stop us winning the league? No. But I think it's a fair assessment.
But But again, I think what you said in the director's box at the time, I think is also really important to note in terms of when Arsenal being able to shop within a better market was really, 21-22, when we signed Jesus, that was a big shock because we thought, wow, we've got Jesus at a time in which, we just finished 5th that season, missed out on top 4. So that was a massive moment for Arsenal. I'd say really 22-23 was where we started to begin to really have leverage outside of obviously our name just being Arsenal. Players want to come, but you still cap yourself on the players that you can really recruit. But I think there is certainly discussion because we look at it from a relative standpoint where the goalkeeper, the defensive reinforcements, the midfield reinforcements have been so good. So naturally the forwards are going to be the way that we've recruited them across the forward line. It's going to look a lot worse in comparison to other areas. And also, that is kind of normal as well, because it is difficult to strike the balance with everything. So it is our biggest area of growth. I think for me with Mikel, I think so in terms of balance across the forward areas, he doesn't always strike it where I feel like what Mikel likes to do is he likes to play certain players time and time again with the same sort of players to allow them to build chemistry. They may not be the best. They may not be the best players on paper, which you're thinking, for example, like Martin Odegaard and Bukayo Saka. When you're talking about, you just go really like simple and just go Arsenal attack with a front five and Saka and Odegaard are there. That's not something which you think would really click, but they have clicked. And with the inclusion of Ben White, I think Mikel is someone who likes to give players that time. And that's why this is not the first time we've seen Gyökeres, Martinelli and Madueke together. We saw it against Bruges. We saw it against Bournemouth. We saw it today as well. I think he prefers giving players the opportunity to build chemistry, even though the balance on paper and also the balance as it transpires when you go through these teething periods can be frustrating. So maybe that's something.
I think that is really astute. I think that's a really well articulated way of putting it, and I haven't really come up with that before. I think he prioritizes connections and relationships over balance. Yeah. Not that he doesn't think about balance, but it's more important for him the connections to stay. And it is even defensively as well, by the way, and that's true defensively. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. You would rather keep a pair. I think that's true defensively, but I don't think it's true at attack.
Yeah. Do you know what's
such a good point?
Do you know right? So we're looking at that left hand side, right, of Timber, Rice, and Martinelli, and we're frustrated. You go back to 23-24 at the start of the season, and we're looking at that our best team. I think everybody in that moment were thinking Timber, Rice, and Martinelli. Timber got that injury. Do you remember? Timber got an injury in the first game against Nottingham Forest, and then we had to start chopping and changing. And in the Community Shield, we started that free as well. I'm not. It's not something I'll ever like, because I believe that you need a left footer on that left hand side to give you a different dynamic. I think 3 right footers there. You're going to need someone like a Semenyo, for example, who's comfortable on both feet, who can go on the wide area. Timber is not someone who... Timber has problems in terms of his feel for the game in the final third with his right foot. So he's going to have the problems with his left foot as well. But I think sometimes Mikel, like that free, that won't be the last time which you will see that free again, because it is a free that he had in mind in that season. So if he had it in mind in that season, he's going to have it in mind now as well. But that can be annoying. I do sympathize that, because you can see sometimes a little change here and there, and the dynamic can just change, and it can look a lot more fluid.
Yeah, it's lots to ponder on there. I think you've hit something there. It's really good. Rohan, we have our own problem to solve, which is that people are being very lovely and they're putting lots of super chats, but we are running out of time.
Can I just say, I'm so happy I didn't go to that game. I'm only about 30 minutes away from the ground. I'm so happy I didn't go to that. Goodness me.
Yes.
Yeah.
Wouldn't have been fun. Was looking for Vimeo. Thank you so much for the super chat. It's very, very kind of you. We can't seem to move the ball quick enough in any phase of play. Nothing stuck to our feet. Too many players are afraid to face the goal and make something happen. Very sad performance. Yeah. I also think it's we've always said for Arteta, there's a sort of choice for the collective over the individual. There's a choice for the sort of the conservative over the liberal, or whichever way you want to go. That you can. He's on that side of the scale, right? And I think what you just said is kind of, again, applicable here in terms of it feels like a lot of players are all going, we're trying to get it into the very best position possible before we have a shot, or we're trying to get into the very best position possible, and we're going to build out from Raya at the very 94th minute, he's playing out from the back.
That's the tempo.
Try something else. We've been trying that all game. Like, go long, get a Marino flick on, and get a Brobby type goal. You know what I mean? It's that type of thing. So yeah.
Well, look at the Trossard second goal against Sunderland. It's a banger from outside the box, isn't it? You need a bit of invention. That's why I was a bit annoyed with no Eze today, because I felt like Eze can give you moments, and then you're bringing him on for what was it, 10 minutes? I mean, it's nice he's came on, but opportunity missed there to play someone like him.
Jamal says we miss Calafiori so much. Timber at left back is not it. Yeah, but again, going back to the point you made about balance, when it works and you have a pod that is balanced, so White, Timber, and Odegaard alongside a good connection, that's when it's worked. But this is at the minute, it's the no balance and no connection. But anyway,
like for example, the Timber against Chelsea made sense to our eyes in terms of Chelsea's threat of Esteval, and you're thinking, oh, Mikel's made that change, strictly because of Esteval. But I'm thinking, no, he's not made that change because of that. He's made that change because he's going to go with Timber for the next few games at left back until Calafiori comes back or until Hincapié comes back. He's going to do that. Yeah, that's how he is.
Yok and Jesus garbage. Give me Havertz now. Yeah, would like to see Havertz today. I don't really understand. I think it was just probably maybe too physical of a game.
He's probably just not. He's not. That's what I was pondering, thinking. Because Mikel has this season. He's been a lot slower to integrate players back, which is a positive. But yeah, I'm itching. I'm on my knees for
I think similar with this I think he's being as conservative as he's ever been with bringing players back.
Yeah,
ever. It used to be that if a player's back and they're on the bench, they'll be in the team. But there's been a number of games where players come back, they've been on the bench and they're not played, and he'll do that for a couple of games before he puts them back in the team for 10 minutes. He's really slow at the minute in terms of. I'd love to see some numbers about it, but I'm sure he is in terms of reintegration. Miles and Eze banished because they're not trusted in certain moments. Yok poor in every aspect, but can't be dropped because we don't want to hurt his feelings.
Last bit off.
Yeah. The Miles thing is interesting. I think and the Eze thing's interesting. See how it develops. I don't see either as long term, but they're both curious.
Just annoying, isn't it? Because I think, like I said, Miles this season, especially the ball over the top, and Forest are a team which that's what they really are going to thrive on. Ball over the top and behind. They would have tried and targeted that, and I think Mikel, one, would recognise that. But two, like I said, I think he is someone who is stubborn. He will persist with something. It's the same as like with Mikel Merino, who I think a lot of fans are starting to, and including myself, I didn't envisage myself kind of U-turning on Mikel Merino after. I mean, the pods are there. The proof is in the pudding. I remember after the first 6 months, I was really questioning the Mikel Merino signing. And even on the right-hand side of midfield, I think I don't really like this, but now I do like it. But Mikel had an idea for it, and it'll be the same with Timber. Now I don't like it, and I've seen enough to not like it. But let's see. I feel like if you're going to go with Timber left back, it would have made sense with Noni Madueke left wing. Really, thinking about it more now. So
yeah. We need challenge flags like NBA and NFL because how in the hell is that not a penalty? Felt like Arteta had one eye on Inter today. Havertz seemed like the striker sub to give the crossing we were doing. Yeah, we were crossing the ball into the box a lot. I felt Havertz would have been the right one. I agree in terms of the one eye on Inter, and it's a bit of a shame taking Saka and Trossard out of the team. And yeah, as we said earlier, it's
well, and I knew that he was not going to play the B team against Inter Milan.
No,
he doesn't. He doesn't look at it like that. It's the same as when we
had what it is as well. You've got to remember these coaches. They all do, by the way. And this isn't an artist. They have egos. Yeah. They don't want to go to Italy and be seen for the first by all the Inter fans and all the Italian press. They don't want to be seen. They want to have a good reputation around the world, right?
Absolutely.
So they will be thinking that. They'll be thinking, I don't want to go to Italy and get whacked. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's like, for example, if you're with your mate, let's use running as an example. If you're running with your mate and you're training week in, week out for a competition, but you're both like trying to push each other during the training. Once you get to the competition, you want to beat him. Yeah. You do want to beat him. It's the same as in football because, like I said, the Inter Milan game. It's the same as Bayern Munich when we had that cluster of three when we played Spurs, Bayern, and Chelsea. And everybody's saying, Bayern game, it's a free hit, which I totally get because the Bayern game is not going to define what we do in the Champions League, whether we win, lose, or draw. We played our strongest team against, but of course we're going to play our strongest team because it's a big moment against a coach in Vincent Kompany who's been doing really well, and you're trying to prove yourself as well. As all of us, if you'd asked us which game to rotate out of Forest, Inter, and Man U, I think we'd all say Inter. Just sack that game off. He doesn't say it like that.
Nope. Was looking for Vimeo with another very kind super chat. Thank you so much. In the broad light of day, pending Villa's result, we're still 7 points ahead. Let's breathe, the little boys. We go again next week, but we need to move the ball faster. I do agree in certain moments. 7 points ahead of Man City with Villa still to play. I think Villa play Everton, is it? I don't know where they play.
Yes, it's at Villa Park.
Everton. It's at Villa Park. Okay, interesting. Yeah, there we are. And in terms of the next couple of fixtures for Arsenal in the Premier League, we've obviously got Man United at home. Then we've got Leeds away. Then we've got Sunderland at home, Brentford away, and then the North London derby at the end of February. So yeah, we will be
tell you what,
eagerly.
Tell you what, winning away from home in this league, I'm going to look at the table in terms of like the away table for teams this season. Teams can't really buy wins on the road in general. We are top of that table, but yeah, it's a slog. This league is tough, and it'll keep getting tougher. We're saying it's the hardest this season. It'll be harder next year, and the year after that, because there's more money involved. So it's just how it is.
Cleogirl says dropping points when we get an op to extend the league is very frustrating because we are giving up a chance to build a buffer that might come in handy in the later stages if we need to prioritize the Champions League. Yeah, look, if we win the Premier League and the Champions League, that's an unbelievable season. I don't see that happening. I think we've got to focus on the Premier League. Winning the Champions League would be incredible, and if we shit the bed in the Premier League, just been trying not to swear all podcasts and just done it. If we poo the bed in the Premier League,
it's done.
Yeah, exactly. Then obviously you've got to go for the Champions League. But I think at the minute, if you ask me to pick, I would pick Premier League every day. We've got to win the Premier League.
Yeah, 100%. It's your bread and butter. 38 games a season, the highs and the lows. And you can't cheat a Premier League season. You can cheat a Champions League. Teams have done it, right?
This team needs to win a Champions League, but it doesn't need to be this season. In this position, Rohan, 7 points clear of City, with the easier run-in, with 3 title races in a row, we have to win this league.
Yeah, we have to.
You know me, I don't go that hard that often. We have to win this league.
Yeah, we will win it. We'll win it. We will win it. It's just, honestly, it's the frustration is because I wanted to bury it today. Yeah. I wanted to go, bang, it's done. I would have said, it's done. No team is going to claw back. This City team at this stage is not going to claw back a 3-game swing that is probably going to be a 4-game swing of our goal difference. So that's the annoyance. We've got Man United next week. They looked really good today, but we're at home. So I'm not really. I mean, I say I'm not worried, but every Arsenal game does worry me. But I'm not overly panicking about that. So yeah, I think what we all should do in the comments, forget about the past, right? Just look at how Man City are playing. Just look at how Arsenal are playing so far this season with all the context and try and assess it there. Because I think you'll get a more of a rational answer as opposed to looking at what Man City have done in the past. Look at this Man City team now. They got absolutely mauled. And Mark Guehi is not going to solve that on his own. No. I'll tell you what, they need Elliot Anderson, though.
They do.
Yeah, because
the runners off the last line against City, that second half, especially.
And Elliot Anderson, he should have been man of the match. I don't know why Sells got it, to be honest. I don't think we tested Sells loads. I think he got the man of the match for that Saka save, right? Which is a good save.
Yeah, classic. Yeah. Viran Para says, beating a dead horse at this point, but my goodness, that Gyökeres run when Murillo trips up and still somehow catches him. I've said a lot about Gyökeres this week. I don't need to say anymore. Use your eyes. It's up to everyone to decide what they think. Yeah. I've said my piece now.
I'm not going to say anything. I'll say something I'll regret. No, just leave it.
Every time I've said everything I mean. Yeah. And people can decide.
What annoys me? So I'm going to say something, right? What annoys me is, right, Victor Gyökeres played well against Chelsea in that second half, and he deserves to be praised there, 100%. But what I don't agree with is the analysis that comes out of that, in which we're starting to rewrite history on previous games in which the wingers are now, not allowing him to thrive. I'm sorry, that is nonsense. It's absolute nonsense. And why can't we just praise a player who played well in that second half instead of trying to then extrapolate on previous games to try and make a case of, this is why, this is what Victor Gyökeres needs. We're looking at one still in which Saka should have squared it, doesn't square it, and then trying to project that into other games this season. That's what annoys me, and that's where you get the frustration, because when there are games like this today, you then start saying, well, come on. Sorry, that wasn't a lot of logic, but
they'd rather blame Saka than the guy who scored 2 goals in 16 Premier League games. That's all you need to know. Every time we play Deitch, it's all haram. Ban him, says Olasho Olatoba. He was
He's actually so annoying, He's
great, but if he was your coach, you'd love it.
Yeah, but I'm saying, like, I hate playing against him every time. It's not just under Arteta, it's been in the past as well. He's so annoying in terms of his teams, and fair play to him. But yeah, he's going to be at Rock City probably tonight. I think he's a Nottingham boy, and that's what he'll be.
He will be there. He will be there. How does VAR say that arm was in a natural position in ping pong? Sure, says Marty Freeman. Yes, basically. I don't understand that. I don't understand that. I think generally that last season was not the year. And I maybe learned my lesson to not say this, but I think these things always come round in the end. I think we've been all right this year.
The reason why I'm not going to put profound emphasis on that, and we haven't really. We said we felt it was a handball, and that's it. But this season, if we are being honest, right, the Saliba challenge on Beto with the handball, it's a handball against Everton. That should have been a penalty for them. We got away with it there. Well. Marino should have been sent off against Aston Villa. And then you will see, but Marino's first yellow card shouldn't have been yellow card. Yeah, but that doesn't matter. He got a yellow card. He's on a yellow card now. Judge that moment, and he should have been sent off. We have had a bit of the rub of the green this season. And fair, and damn right we should have, to be honest, because the past season it's been an absolute nonsense. And today we should have had a penalty, but for me, that shouldn't be the big conclusion from the game. I would hate for people to start talking about that profoundly. We should talk about the game in general, the chances we missed, the things that we could have done better. That's where my focus is. So,
Stock Soud says, feel like we're about to get a spell of draws. I hope not, my friend. Good Pod says, that kid Prince. Do you think Saka should get or demand more touches? Feels like he could be used like Barca using them out, like get your creative players the most touches. Yeah, I think he's having enough influence. I think the thing for me at the minute, and the way Forest dealt with him well, was they had a man on him, and then they didn't have a man next to the guy, but they had him sort of basically waiting for Saka once he'd got round him.
Yeah,
and that's a good way of dealing with him, because you create that overload, but then you need the overlap from Ben White, which he wasn't able to get. Ben White was probably too central. I do have sympathy with this sort of get your better players inside as a general rule. I do.
I think we should. Not today. It's not the time today. But there's a lot of benefits in the way that we have the fullbacks come into those areas. Because if you think just really quickly, if you think of how the game is becoming, it's becoming a lot more man orientated, right? So the wingers naturally will have the fullbacks. So who's marking our fullbacks? It will be their wingers, right? So their wingers are not going to be as good defensively. So if you can bait them to you come deep and then you spin in behind, they become free men, because sometimes the opposition wingers are not always going to be able to track them because they're not going to be as alert, and that's why they do it. So if Saka comes inside, like this is the big talking point against Liverpool, which he absolutely did it many times. When Saka comes inside, he's going to be followed a lot more, and he's going to be marked a lot more aggressively, and it becomes more difficult to find that space. When he starts wide, and you've got someone like in that game, Kirkes really wide, the space is in between the channel because they're going to accept that trade-off. And that's where you need to be a lot more smarter with your decision-making, how you can get the fullback in behind. So I think it is a lot harder than what people think. Just to say, Saka should be predominantly, and he should be every single moment inside. I don't think it's as easy as that.
Yeah, and this is something George and I go back. You can't have every single player platformed to the maximum degree inside having all the touches. So you have to make a decision. But yeah, I agree on Saka in your analysis there. Oliver Monk, this was a Havertz and Trossard game, I feel like. Yeah, potentially. I think certainly people want to see Havertz. Same. Trini Boy became a YouTube member. Thank you so much. I think we missed one earlier, actually. Someone became a YouTube member earlier. Apologies.
There's so many. Yeah.
Yeah, I really appreciate it, guys. Thank you so much. Anyone else selling their stocks in Gyökeres says was looking for a Vimeo. I understand why we bought him on paper, but he's been a dud. Let's call it and find a replacement this summer. We've discussed that many times, but really, really appreciate your super chat, my friend. John, we were not having these issues in 23-24. What's different now? I think the quality of the league's gone up since then. I think we're more conservative since then. I think we haven't got habits in the team.
There's a lot of moving parts as well, right? I think, when you look at one individual player, this is not a critique to Gyökeres, but Gyökeres stylistically is a lot different to what we've had in the past, right? So with Gyökeres hanging on the last line, we don't have an additional advantage in the deeper area between the lines there, So these are the sort of things that we have to get around with. Whereas in the past, when you've got a Jesus, when you've got a Havertz, it does flow a lot easier because we have been accustomed to playing in that way, that sort of forward. And the quality of the league is a lot better. It factually is. If you look at the Premier League spending in comparison to any other league, it is night and day, and it's increasing season after season after season. Everybody else is becoming poorer relative to the Premier League. And that's why it's entertaining. That's why, like, I watched Chelsea Brentford today. Brentford should have battered them, and they lose 2-0. But that's not a shock. Like, Brentford going to the Stamford Bridge and battering them and thinking they should have won is not a shock. You wouldn't say that a few years ago. So
that's an excuse, mate. That's what that is. Retro Gaming-ish says Odegaard, Zubi, Rice midfield is the issue. End of. I don't think we've seen enough sample of that to say that. Yeah. And also, you wouldn't have said that post Bournemouth. So
yeah, sorry, I don't agree, but I do think it's I've been quite big on that midfield, but it's also a case of Mikel understanding what the game requires, and we've both said afterwards I'm saying with hindsight, it clearly wasn't a game which Odegaard was going to thrive in, especially with Elliot Anderson on that side. Maybe we needed something else, but I think that midfield can absolutely work, and we have seen it work in games. So
yeah. It's beyond time for Eze to have a run of starts, says Adigan. Yeah, we've discussed that a little bit. Thank you for your super chat. All of you very kind. Why do we keep hoofing second balls straight down the middle? So annoying to watch, and clearly a strategy. Second balls straight down the middle.
I think he's talking about when we go long, trying to win.
We're trying to play some balls in behind, I think, for Madueke and Eze. Not Eze. Come on. Madueke and Martinelli. But they're not in Burma. They don't react like that. Martinelli's quick, but he doesn't have that, apart from one this afternoon in the penalty box, and then he missed it. So, guys, to be honest, even if we were 9 or 11 points ahead of City, I genuinely don't think our or their players think it's over. Also, don't discount Villa. I will discount Villa. Sorry to say. I will discount Villa. It's been proven time and time. They don't have enough quality in the squad, not enough depth. They're a very, very good team, by the way. They should be where they are. But to go the distance in a Premier League title race, to do it first time with this manager who's proven that he goes in runs and then falls off for a little period and then runs and falls off. For me, no.
Pull your pants up, guys. If we think about Villa, pull your pants up. We're not losing this title race to Villa. We're not. No. It's not happening. Come on.
City won't lose hope, of course. But I also, the way like people like Saliba and Rice and stuff speak and Gabriel, these guys, like I know we as fans are hurt. These guys don't think they're losing this league. Yeah. They just don't. I'm sorry.
Wait, lose. I just want to. No, I'm selfish. I just want to have a stress-free life watching Arsenal games.
Yeah, you're not going to get it, mate. You're not going to get it. Con1414 says, can anyone explain why Gyökeres gets 60 minutes every game? Paul Pavlinsky says, this game is a boost for Man City players. I swear they watch us and believe they can still win the league if they improve, which they will with Gehi. Yeah, I do. I imagine they think so, 100%. Yeah. But we're in the position of power and we're there for a reason. And Man City's defensive issues. If you watch that second half against Man United, I think they fixed that overnight with Mark Gehi, as you said earlier. I'm sorry, it's not happening.
Well, just look at the past few games. We've all watched the Chelsea game. We watched the Brighton game. Did you see the Brighton game? When they played, yeah, City Brighton. That was their previous game in the Premier League midweek. Brighton should have scored about 3 in the first half. So come on. I mean, I hear it. I'll be lying to you if I said I wasn't nervous. I'm nervous every single game. I'm an absolute wreck. But when I have time to reflect and watch the game back with a more grounded head, I try to do it. I don't worry about this team in terms of the league. So, yeah.
Thank you, Ron, for super chat. John, shocking display from our captain. Sell Summer. James says 0 central progression and captain ducking 50-50s. And there was another one about Odegaard.
Yeah, he did have a stint.
Odegaard pushing 30 and still can't half space cross, says Hi Dat. Any thoughts on that?
Odegaard pushing 30. Still can't half space. Yeah.
Thoughts on Odegaard?
Like I said, I didn't think he had a good game. But I do think since he's came back from injury, he's had a lot of really good performances. I will say his past couple have been rather underwhelming, but he's still got a lot to give. Like I said, I think it's down to Mikel to be able to recognise which games require which players. Whether it's Marina, whether it's Eze. I don't believe in starting that same midfield. If we're looking at, I think Mikel has rotated and managed the squad a lot better this season. At the start of the campaign, it was a lot easier because his decisions were already made with the number of injuries. But I think we've seen this midfield three play consistently now for a stretch of games, which we've had a lot of good games with. But I don't think it should be the three every single time.
Yeah. We do need. I think we need another one in there. I don't think we're going to do it this January, but we do. CKE91 says, I can't be fake positive. We aren't earning the league. It's being handed to us. We deserve the narrative the rest of the league spews about us. I don't agree, man. I'm sorry. There's like something like 9 points between 17th and 6th or 5th or something. Like it's such a good league. If you think that's indicative of poor quality rather than good quality, okay, fine. It's not true. And no other metric lines up with that in terms of sprints and money invested and player quality and league interest. No other metric lines up with that, but okay. This is the most competitive league in the world. If you are able to put together consistent runs, as we have done, 5 wins in a row at points, as I think we've done a couple of times this season, let me just check that. That to me is a sign of a really quality team. We obviously we have flaws and our own flaws, but also don't discount the fact that these teams are brilliant who we're facing. They really are in the Premier League.
I just don't think
twice. If you put together 5 wins in a row in this league right now, I'm sorry, that's so impressive.
That's why I was absolutely baffled with that Man United fan saying he's not going to cut his hair until they win 5 games. That's hard. I know that's off topic, but
no, but it is that slightly. Sorry, in my opinion, in 5 years, that everyone will be like, bro, that's never happening for any team.
Yeah,
it's just the way the league's going, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's hard.
3 seasons now with these types of teams playing low blocks against us, and Mikel still hasn't figured out how to break them down. It's insufferable now.
I just don't agree. I think this is a lot of recency bias. I genuinely do. We played against that Sunderland team with a really deep low block, and we're creating at will. Against Crystal Palace, we're creating at will. Against Brighton, Brighton to be fair, took the game to us, but we've had a lot of games this season which I just don't agree that's been the case. I genuinely think everybody have a good night's sleep. Have a good night's sleep. I'll have a good night's sleep as well. I'm telling you, and then you'll feel a lot better tomorrow because it is +1.
+1, boys. I saw someone at the beginning of the pod being like, can't wait for Alex to try and spin this as +1.
I'll say it.
Honestly, lads, Ro's been cooking. You have been cooking this.
I actually feel a lot better because,
mate, they're therapeutic. Honestly, they're therapeutic.
Do you know what it is? Like I said, I was more frustrated. I said, I signed the deed today. Said, I don't care about the performance. Just win me the game. Didn't win me the game. I mean, didn't get a great performance, but I'm not going to criticize the performance as much because I said I just wanted to win. And it was more down to City. My whole mindset today wasn't even about Arsenal. It's like, I just want to bury this team now. And we didn't do it, but we'll go again. There'll be another chance to do it. Come on, Wolves.
We go again, FC. Michael, Alex, I tagged you in a Scott post looking at performance trends. Last 10 games haven't been that great. I'll have a look at that. Thank you, Michael. Appreciate that. Oliver Monk, I think Waneri could be a solution creatively if he can get on the pitch, if he can get the squad.
Damn right. I mean, that's another topic. Yeah,
it's a whole other conversation, but appreciate that. And final one from ETAFC says, everything has failed up front. Why not try something new with Eze or Ethan now? Free-flowing role, and they're both clinical. Arteta has hinted Ethan as a 9.
I don't sometimes. I love Mikel's answers, and he articulates them brilliantly, and I think, that makes sense, but he doesn't do them as quickly as what I'd like. So,
well, Rohan,
yeah.
If you want some press conference analysis, go to the Alex Moneypenny personal channel. I did some press conference analysis yesterday.
I like that. It's good.
Okay, we're 7 clear.
Yeah,
we have I'm going to do this on the next few instant reactions. To me, I think this makes me feel better. It might not make anyone else feel better. But I'm going to start to just read out the next few fixtures. United at home. We should win that.
Yeah, should.
Leeds away. No easy games in this league.
That's a hard one, though. Yeah.
Tough. We should win that. Sunderland at home. We should win that. Brentford away. We should win that. Spurs away. We should win that. Chelsea at home. We should win that. We're into March. Then we have the easiest run in.
Yeah, I mean, look at City's fixtures.
This league is winnable. This league is winnable. This league is winnable.
We're winning this league, boys. Trust me. I mean, I said that last few seasons as well. Just don't trust me at those times.
But this one, this one's different.
But before I was a bit more like, a bit scared.
City still have to go to Stamford Bridge. They have to go to the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. They have to go to Anfield. They still have to play us, Newcastle at home, Villa at home on the final day. Whew.
Is it final day?
Final day, City against Villa. That could be tasty, you know.
I mean, I'll definitely be crying. But imagine it's not going to happen, guys. I'm just thinking, right? I'm just gonna down the mood even more, right? I'm gonna bring it to rock bottom. Imagine we just falling away, and that's the title decided between them two.
Who's this?
Hey.
Yeah, someone said to me today that before this game, there is a world in which we can beat City at the Etihad and win the title.
We'll get a Pep and Arteta fight? Yeah, it could be that.
Also, Rohan, can I remind you that on a Cannon Pod on the 21st of August, we agreed we would shave our heads.
No, we didn't.
Yes, we did.
No, it wasn't. It was with George in there as well, and George denied. He declined it, so we're not doing it.
Chat, what are we saying?
You're not doing
it. Rohan is denying it. You can all go back. 21st of August, TCP Live. We all agreed, or it might have been a main pod, wherever that pod was on the 21st, to shave our heads. I will be doing it.
I think
that's just me, mate.
I've got a massive mole on my head as well.
That's just me, mate. That's just me. I keep my promises, but that's just me. That's just me, mate. Or yeah, the other option is you get a perm. you two get perms.
Oh my god.
Right. I feel better. And Arsenal might be rubbish in the attacking phase sometimes, but I do feel better.
I'll be watching it tomorrow and I'll be figuring stuff out, trying to figure stuff out.
You'll do it. Thank you all for joining us for over an hour worth of instant reactions. Thank you for joining us, Rohan. A pleasure to have you.
I was always going to come on. I was going to message, and I forgot to do it, but I was going to come on today. And this is the first time we've not won enough game on. It's annoying, but...
Sure. Thank you so much for watching. And thanks, as always, for keeping it Arsenal.
Tens of thousands of football fans came to Highbury. This was one kind of queue the ladies thoroughly enjoyed.
Electrifying. Inspiration.